we've been learning about story structure. Stories often have a similar structure with the plot, how it moves through the story. So in the beginning, we find out about who the characters are and what the problem or conflict is in the story. In the middle, we learn a little bit more about the characters and how they try to solve the conflict or the problem. And at the end, the characters, we have the resolution or how the characters solve the problem or the conflict. So yesterday we looked at the Cinderella named Zoe. Today we're going to look at the Cinderella named Quan, and we're going to fill out the same paper. Okay, we're going to fill out the same paper about the character Quan. How you would describe her on the inside, on the outside. What is her problem? Who's going to help her solve the problem? And what is her happy ending? And then we'll do a picture of her at the end. But today you're going to do it on your own. We did it together yesterday, so now you're going to fill it out on your own. We'll stop while we're reading, and we'll talk about it, and then you're going to fill it out. Cinderella named Quan, a Korean story. Long, long ago, a baby girl was born. Her father named her Quan, which means strong. So could we say on the inside she might be a little strong? Yeah. Sadly, her mother died. Years later, Quan's father remarried. His new wife had her own daughter and named He, which means pleasure. Quan's stepmother and stepsister were jealous of Quan and unkind to her. So Quan wasn't jealous or unkind. That wasn't her insides. That was her stepsister and stepmother. Okay? So Quan we haven't finished. One beautiful spring morning, Quan's stepmother said, "I'm taking He to the festival." "Can I go, honorable mother?" asked Quan. "Yes, but first you must weed the garden." He and her mother laughed as they left for the city. Quan's heart was heavy. The garden was filled with weeds. Okay, so let's go back to this paper. How would you describe Quan in this box? Tell me what she's like on the outside and the inside. Go ahead, you do it. On this square, tell me how Quan is on the inside and the outside. Tell me a word that tells me how she is on the outside and a word that tells me how she is on the inside. We're doing this box right now. All right, tell me how she is on the outside and the inside. Now, we just learned what her problem is. So in this box, tell me what her problem is. She can't what? I'm going to read the page. What does she have to do? She can't do this because she has to do that. One beautiful spring morning, Quan's stepmother said, "I'm taking He to the festival." "Can I go, honorable mother?" asked Quan. "Yes, but first you must weed the garden." He and her mother laughed as they left for the city. Quan's heart was heavy. The garden was filled with weeds. So what is her problem? Write it right here in this box. Okay, remember you're writing what our problem is right here. You're writing what the problem is right here. Okay. She went outside and was surprised by a large brown cow who said, "I'll eat the weeds." "Yes, please," Quan said. The cow chomped all the weeds in a flash. Suddenly, a flock of songbirds appeared in the sky carrying a lovely robe and slippers. "For the strong one." Remember we said she's strong, they sang. Thrilled, Quan dashed down the road to the bridge across the river. She tripped and fell. One of her slippers splashed into the water. "Oh, no," cried Quan, watching the slipper float away. Quan hobbled home and hid the gown and slipper in an old trunk. So there were two people that helped her solve her problem of the weeds. Who were the two problem and helped her get to the festival? Or get ready for the festival. Who were the two things that helped her? Write them both here. One did the weeds and one gave her a dress. So who helps her to solve her problem? Tell me the two that helped her solve the problem. One helps her with the weeds and one helps her with the dress. Write the two that helped with the problem. All right, Quan hobbled home and hid the gown and slipper in an old trunk. Meanwhile, a young prince was traveling to the festival. Thirsty, he stopped by the river for a drink. He put his lips in the cold, rushing water, and a beautiful slipper floated by. "Pretty slipper, pretty lady," he asked as he grabbed the slipper. Pretty lady, sang the birds flying above. I must find her, he declared. The prince traveled to many farms, asking every young woman to try on the slipper. Arriving at Quan's farm, he showed it to He and Quan. He shoved Quan to the side, saying, "It's mine." "You are not polite," said the prince. "Your sister will try first." Quan slipped her foot into the slipper. "You are strong and beautiful," he said. "Please marry me." Smiling, Quan said, "Yes." The songbirds swirled above. Happy was their song. So what happened at the end for Quan? What is her happy ending? Write it right here. What is her happy ending? And then when you're done, you can draw a picture of her using your pencils or your colored pencils or your crayons to draw a picture of Quan. You're just drawing a picture of Quan. You're not drawing a picture of anyone else, just the main character.